Process management and operating system. So what what is process? Process management. Process management is the part of the operating system that controls and manages all the processes, programs that are running on a computer. A process is just a program in execution. Process management makes sure that programs run smoothly, CPU is used efficiently, memory and resources are shared properly. No conflicts happen between processes. So here, process management is a core function of an operating system. It deals with creating, scheduling, and coordinating processes to ensure efficient CPU utilization and smooth system performance. Single tasking systems. Easy to manage since only one process runs at a time. So single tasking is it said here is easy to manage because you only run one program or one app at a time. So multi-programming or multitasking systems more complex as multiple processes need to share the CPU efficiently. So so here is that example on the multitasking system. So here, this is this is the example of multitasking. So this is the program 1 and the program 2. The program the CPU scheduling switch very fast because they will use the CPU efficiently. So your computer is not lagging or anything or crashing, etc. So resource resource sharing. Active processes may share memory and other resources requiring careful management. And process synchronization necessary when processes interact or communicate to avoid conflicts. So the example of mm, so what is processes? A process can be thought as a programming in execution. A process will need certain resources such as a CPU time, memory, files, and I/O devices to accomplish its task. These resources are located to the process either when it is created either it is created or while it is executing. A process is the unit of work in most systems. System consists of a collection of processes operating system. Processes execute system codes and user processes execute user codes. So so the how process works. So process is a program that is currently I know a program that is currently running on your computer. Example, opening Google Chrome and Chrome running and using CPU, memory, files, and files. Process needs things to work. CPU time to execute instructions, memory to store data, files to read and write, I/O I/O devices, keyboard, mouse, printer, etc. Your computer system is full of processes, both system processes, OS tasks. and user processes is your apps. So operating system responsibilities and process management. The creation and deletion of both user and system processes, the scheduling of processes, and the provision of mechanism for synchronization, communication, and deadlock handling for process. So, so in the operating system responsibility and process management, the OS handles creating and deleting processes. When you open an app, OS creates a process. When you close an app, OS deletes it and frees the memory. And scheduling, the OS decides which process uses the CPU first. Synchronization, if two processes use the same resource like memory, the OS prevents the conflict. Communication, the OS makes it possible for processes to talk to one another, message passing, or shared memory. Deadlock handling. A deadlock is when processes wait for each other and nobody can continue. The OS tries to avoid or fix this situation. Process Process management task. Process management is a key part in operating systems with multi-programming or multitasking. Process creation and termination. Process creation involves creating a process ID, setting up process, control block, and etc. A process can be terminated either by the operating system or by the parent process. Process termination termination involves clearing all resources allocated to it. CPU scheduling. In a multi-programming system, multiple processes needs to get the CPU. It is the job of operating system to ensure smooth and efficient execution of multiple processes. Deadlock handling, making sure that the system does not reach a state where two or more processes cannot be proceed due to cyclic dependency on each other. Enter processes communication operating system provides facilities such as shared memory and message passing for cooperating processes to communicate. Process synchronization. Process synchronization is the coordination of execution of multiple processes in a multi-programming system to ensure that they access shared resources like memory in a controlled and predictable manner. So, creation and termination. Process creation. When a process is created, it gets a process ID and process control block. OS gives it memory and needed resources. So, in process termination happens when the process finishes or the OS stops it or the parent processes stops it. All its memory and resources are returned to the system. So in the CPU scheduling, many processes wants processes want to use the CPU, but only one process can use it at a time. The OS chooses which process runs next. Make sure that CPU is used efficiently and the system fast and responsive. In a deadlock handling, a deadlock is is like this. Process A needs resources B. Process B needs resources A. Both wait forever. DOS prevents deadlock and detects them, solves them if they happen. The Inter-process communication (ICP) processes sometimes need to share data. DOS allows communication using shared memory. Both processes read and write in the same area. Messaging passing processes send messages to each other. So process synchronization. When two or more processes need the same resource, DOS ensures no conflict and no data corruption, and processes run in a proper order. example, two apps should not write on the same file at the same time. So, what is inside a process? A process includes text section, program code or a program code, program counter, location of the instruction, CPU registers, store variables, stack, temporary data, function calls, and parameters. Data section, global variables, heap, memory created during runtime. So, process states. So here's the example of the process. Process creation and termination. Here the program 1 and the program 2 will go in the task manager and you will, so process state. A process goes through 5 states. 1. New process is being created, running currently using the CPU, waiting or waiting for something like input or data. Ready, process is prepared to run, waiting for the CPU. Terminated, process has finished. So process control block. A process control block or PCB is a data structure used by the operating system to store all the information about a process. It's like process's identity card in memory. Without it, the OS wouldn't know how to manage or resume the process. Key contents of PCB. So the process control block PCB or a PCB is like the ID card or a profile of a process inside the OS. It contains 1. Process identification. PID, process ID, parent process ID, used to identify the processes. So this is the process control block or PCB. Process state, process number, program counter, registers, memory limits, list of open files. Thank you.